নিশ্চয় চাই চাগে so my dear friends স্কুল বহুতৰে খুল খাই গৈছে হয় নে নহয় okay so আশা কৰিছো আটাই সুৰক্ষিত হৈ social distancing follow কৰি ভালদৰে পঢ়া শুনা কৰি আছা স্কুলত গৈ আছা চাগে right so now in today's class what are we supposed to do well আমি কি কৰিম we will do some sort of revision okay so কিছুমান grammar topics or revision কৰিম all right not কিছুমান to be precise এটা grammar topic or revision কৰিম okay and this is something that you all need to understand এইটো এনেকুৱা টপিক নহয় যে তোমালোকে এইটো বিষয়ে নাজানা you all know that but the thing is কি এইটোৰ বিষয়ে তোমালোকে ইয়াৰ ডেফিনিশনটো হয়তো অলপ কনফিউজন থাকিব পাৰে so that's why we are revising this one so are we all ready আমি সব ready নে yeah fine then so without wasting any more time let's begin fine then you all know this is going to be an English class what can we see it's a nice village isn't it so there are 4 people and তেওঁলোকে কথা পাতি আছে চাওঁচোন কি হৈছে is that the house near by the well yours is that house nearby the well yours এই কুৱাৰ ওচৰত থকা ঘৰটো আপোনালোকৰ নে so there is someone who is asking a question and the word we need to look at here ইয়াত আমি যেটো word ওপৰত বিশেষ গুৰুত্ব দিব লাগিব that word is yours is that house nearby the well yours no that house is not mine so the girl replies no that house is not mine এই ঘৰটো মোৰ নহয় and the word here we are focusing on is what mine my house is the next to that house my house is the next to that house মোৰ ঘৰটো হ'ল এইটো ঘৰৰ ওচৰত থকাটো next my house okay so প্ৰথমতে কি আছিল yours mine now we saw what my okay that's our house now the other person says that's our house whose ours so yours mine my ours mine now look at these words আমি কি কি দেখিলো we saw mine we saw my we saw yours we saw ours তাৰোপৰি similar words আছে his hers theirs এই words বিলাক তো অচিন word নহয় আমাৰ কাৰণে we all know these words we have seen them before right so what do you call these words what is the function of these words well mine yours ours my his her these are what these are pronouns and what do these pronouns do এইকেইটা pronoun হয় আৰু pronoun কেইটা কি কৰে pronouns that can take place of a noun phrases to show ownership so what are these pronouns that can take place of a noun phrases to show ownership they do what they show ownership মানে কি কাৰোবাৰ belonging হয় নিজৰ অধিকাৰ থকা নিজৰ অধীনত থকা নিজৰ থকা বস্তুটো তেনেকুৱা বুজাটো কি বুলি কোৱা it means something like ownership and we call them what possessive pronoun so অসমীয়াত ক'ব গ'লে কি হয় তোমাৰ মোৰ তেখেতৰ আমাৰ এই wordsবোৰ কি হয় they are pronouns and they are what they are possessive pronouns আমি আটাই জানো এইবিলাক কি হয় these are pronouns but the definition to hold they show possession and so that's why we call them what we call them possessive pronouns all right now moving ahead there is a conversation going on in a room there are quite a few people এজন মানুহে এখন ফটো ফালে পইণ্ট কৰি এটা প্ৰশ্ন সুধিলে what did he ask he asked who is that in the photograph who is that in the photograph that is and the person you can see is crying. Isn't it? He became very emotional. I'm sorry, did I bring up something unpleasant? My apologies. So আনজন মানুহে ক'লে মই দুখিত মই যদি কি এটা মানে বেয়া বস্তু এটা ৰেজ কৰিছো আপোনাৰ কাৰণে দুখজনক কিবা এটা ৰেজ কৰিছো ক্ষমা কৰিব my possessive pronoun কি হয় ইয়াত my we were talking about possessive pronouns and the word we need to look at here is what my right oh that's okay this photograph is a reminder of the faith of our entire farming community. Oh, that's okay. This photograph is a reminder of the faith of our entire farming community. এতিয়া মানুহজনী ক'লে oh that's okay কোনো কথা নাই বাৰু but then এই ফটোগ্ৰাফটোৱে আমাক স্মৰণ কৰাই দিয়ে আমাৰ যিটো ভাগ্য হয় যিটো আমাৰ কৃষক সমাজ আছে তেওঁলোকৰ যিটো ভাগ্যৰ কথা কৈ দিয়ে our again the possessive pronoun here we are looking for is what we are trying to learn possessive pronouns with the help of few more examples প্ৰথম অৱস্থাত আমি দেখিলো কি words possessive pronoun category পৰে right এটা তেওঁলোকক কোড কেনেকৈ ব্যৱহাৰ কৰা হয় তাৰ কেইটামান উদাহৰণ আমি চাই আছো এইকেইটা বাক্যত right I don't understand মানুহজন মানে আচৰিত হৈ গ'ল কি কৈছে কৃষক সমাজৰ ভাগ্যৰ কথা কয় এইটো I don't understand so the next person is saying the person in this photograph is Sarvesha, a cousin of mine. He recently committed suicide. His household suffered a lot owing to the crop failure last year. His debts kept mounting and their difficulties too. One day he simply hanged himself. এই ফটো যিজন মানুহ দেখিছে তেখেতৰ নাম সৰ্বেশা হয় he is a cousin of mine he recently committed suicide তেওঁ কিছুদিন আগতে আত্মহত্যা কৰিছে his household suffered a lot owing to crop failure last year যোৱা বছৰ কৃষিত খৰাং বতৰ বা বানপানীৰ কাৰণে যিটো খেতিটো নষ্ট হ'ল তাৰ কাৰণে তেওঁ আৰ্থিকভাৱে বহুত এটা দুৰৱস্থাৰ সন্মুখীন হৈছিল his debts kept mounting and their difficulties too তেখেতৰ ঋণৰ বোজাটো বাঢ়ি গৈ আছিল আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ যিবিলাক difficulties আছে যিবিলাক কষ্ট পাই আছিল এইবিলাকো বাঢ়ি গৈছিল so one day he simply hanged himself আৰু এইদিনাখন সহ্য কৰিব নোৱাৰি he hanged himself now এই কাহিনীটোত আমি কি চাব লাগিব we'll have to look at possessive pronouns so the first possessive pronoun is what mine then the next word is his his has been used twice his to দুবাৰ use কৰা হৈছে so that is one right and then we have the other word there as well mine his their okay that's really sad এইটো সঁচাকৈ বৰ দুখজনক I didn't know your village had experienced such incidents too মই জ্ঞাত নাছিলো যে আপোনাৰ গাঁওখনত এনেকুৱা ঘটনাও ঘটিছে so মানুহজনে ক'লে that's really sad I didn't know your village had experienced such incidents too so এতিয়া এইটো বাক্যত what can be the word we are looking for yeah you people are absolutely right the word is your so what is your doing it's telling us about possession isn't it so that's again a possessive pronoun a girl came not just ours and she said what not just ours not just ours so the possessive pronoun here is yes you got it right that's ours right and you are Rapuni that's my daughter sir her name is Pooty in fact Service's daughter is a friend of hers that's my daughter sir her name is Pooty in fact Service's daughter is a friend of hers এজনী মোৰ ছোৱালী হয় মহাশয় তাইৰ নাম স্ফূৰ্তি আৰু সাৰ্ভিচৰ জীয়েক তাইৰ বান্ধৱী আছিল so now what are we looking for very good we are looking for possessive pronouns right so ইয়াত আমাৰ কাৰণে possessive pronouns ক'ত থাকিব পাৰে চাওঁ আহাচোন first word is my right then her is the next word then we saw what hers my, her, and hers. A word keta ki koise? Whose daughter? My daughter. Whose name is Pooty? Her name. And Service's daughter was her friend. Whose friend? Hers friend. Right? So এজন মানুহৰ পজিশনত থকা বস্তুবোৰ বুজাইছে. Right? So then Spooty is saying something. What is he saying? He's saying what? That there are over 300 such deaths reported in our district this year. The neighboring district is no different. Their numbers are fewer but significant. There are over 300 such incidents reported in our district this year. Well, আমাৰ জিলাতে এনেকুৱা 300টা ঘটনা ৰিপৰ্ট আছে আৰু ওচৰ চুবুৰীয়া জিলাবোৰতো আমাতকে কম আছে বাট সিগনিফিকেন্ট এটা বৃহৎ সংখ্যক এনেকুৱা ঘটনাৰ ৰেকৰ্ড আছে. So again, their numbers. Whose number? Their numbers. তেওঁলোকৰ numbers বোৰ fewer হয় but significant, right? So which one is our possessive pronoun here? It's there. Then there is another. What's that? It's are. I will surely look into the matter and bring it to the attention of our authorities. I will surely look into the matter and bring it to the attention of our authorities. The responsibility of resolving this is not just yours but also theirs. Now we look at this. The man replied, I will surely look into the matter and bring it to the attention of our authorities. মই এইটো বস্তুত আপোনাক যিমান পাৰি সিমান সহায় কৰিম আৰু আমাৰ অথৰিটিজৰ এটেনশ্যনলৈকে এইটো বস্তু লৈ আহিম. The responsibility of resolving this is not just yours but also theirs. এই সমস্যাটো সমাধান কৰাৰ দায়িত্ব আপোনালোকৰ নহয় তেওঁলোকৰো. So what are we looking for? Good. We were looking for examples for possessive pronoun, right? So ক'ত পাব পাৰি? First is are, yours, and then theirs. Again, these are what? Very good. These are possessive pronouns. We would be grateful to you and your superiors if this can be done soon. আমি আপোনাৰ ওচৰত কৃতজ্ঞ হৈ থাকিম যদি এইটো খুব সোনকালে কৰিব পৰা যায়. So the possessive pronoun is what? Very good. That's your. Spooty, that's enough. The panchayat will take care of these discussions. Let's leave. The prospective groom and his family will be home soon. So father became strict. He says, Spooty, that's enough. এইবিলাক ডাঙৰ মানুহৰ কথা হয় পঞ্চায়তে ইয়াৰ সিদ্ধান্ত ল'ব. So what's the possessive word here? It's your and his, right? All right then. So let's see what are these words. I like to serve food to my guest. Whose guest? My guest. Cooking is a favorite pastime of mine. Okay. Can I borrow your pen? Is that chocolate yours? Hari will meet his friends this evening. The idea of going to Janata Hotel was his. All right. So what we can see, what is the similarity and difference between my and mine? Okay. If it's, I like to serve food to my guest, cooking is a favorite pastime of mine. If it's used as an object, then we use mine, yours, and his, right? Okay, her, hers, ours, theirs. If you look at this, my mother wore her new sari for Deepavali. The blue bag is hers. Our national anthem is written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. The blue house belongs to my uncle and the one next to it is ours. The Election Commission has asked the citizens to verify their names in the electoral rolls. My uncle's family helped me find a job. The company manager is a friend of theirs, right? So we can see again here, if it is, in the first person active, we can say her. If it's, not just active, if it is not the subject, then we use hers, ours, theirs, etc. Right? Moving ahead. Okay, choose the right answer from the brackets and complete the following. I'm helping dash friends. Whose friend? My or mine? Very good. It would be what? My friends. They are writing their addresses. Whose addresses? It's their addresses, right? So they are writing their addresses. We are studying dash lessons are or ours. Ours or our. Very good. The word is our, right? We are studying our nations. The village is dash our or ours. This village is dash. What will be the word? It's ours. The blue bag is very good. It's mine. Now moving ahead. So now look at these sentence. These books are mine. These are my books. We know we can use the same sentence by using my by saying these are my books, right? This gift is yours. This gift is yours. And we can say this is your gift, right? These are her pair of shoes, and we can say this pair of shoes is hers. Then we can say he is playing with his toys. What is he doing? He is playing with his toys, and the toys he's playing with are his. The toys he's playing with are his. That house is theirs. Whose house is that? That's theirs, right? So the possessive pronoun here is which one? Very good. That is theirs, right? So that is their house. So এটি আমি next কি করব? The same sentence can be presented like this. That is their house, right? This school is ours. This school is whose? Ours. So we can simply say this is our school, right? This is our school. Now moving ahead. So here is an exercise for you all. Let's see what can be done for this one. The exercise says complete the sentences using the right possessive. Complete the sentences using the right possessive. So look at the story first up. Sadhana and Shashank are not just cousins, but they're also best friends. Their friendship is known to everyone in the neighborhood. Sadhana studies mass communication. It is Da's favorite subject. Shashank is more of a people's person, and Da's interest is in the field of marketing. Da's parents are doctors, and the clinic on North Street is Da's. They live in a joint family. They have a pet dog. Da's name is Duke. So if I see, your options are his, her, their, its, theirs, and ours. So let's try. Let's start. Sadhana and Sasank are not just cousins, but they are also best friends. Their friendship is known to everyone in the neighborhood. So, whose friendship? Very good. Their friendship. Sadhana studies mass communication. It is Da's favorite subject. Whose favorite subject? Sadhana's, right? So when we have to use a possessive, what will we say? We'll say her. Very good. So we'll say what? It's her favorite subject. Shashank is more of a people's person, and Da's interest is in the field of marketing. Whose interest? It's Shashank's, right? So we'll say what? His interest is in the field of marketing. Da's parents are doctors, and the clinic on North Street is Da's. So whose parents? It's his parents. It's Shashank's parents are doctors, and the clinic on North Street is whose? Theirs, isn't it? So the clinic on the North Street is theirs. They live in a joint family. They have a pet dog. So what would be the word here? With animals, we'll say what? Very good. We'll say its. So its name is Duke. Good. Now moving ahead. So let's see some of the common errors that we make, while using possessives. My mother's office is next to his office. My mother's office is next to his office. It's talking about whose office? My mother's and his, right? So this is wrong. What would be the right answer? My mother's office is next to his office. We need to use an apostrophe to mean possessive. Why? Because if we don't use that apostrophe, it will mean what? Mother's, plural, right? It cannot be my mother's, it has to be my mother, then apostrophe and s. So that will mean possessive, right? So this is the right expression. Similarly, is this lunchbox yours? Is this lunchbox yours? This is right or wrong? This is wrong. Why? Because we don't put apostrophe with yours. We simply say, is this lunchbox yours? That would be the right answer. All right, so let's summarize whatever we have learned in this class. So we talked about what? We talked about possessive pronouns. So what is a possessive pronoun? Or the possessive pronoun that can take place of a noun phrase to show ownership, right? Examples are words like mine, yours, ours, my, his, hers, their, etc. Right? So hope you all have understood what we discussed today. Fine then. So boys and girls, keep working hard. We'll see you next time around. Thank you. Good evening, my dear students. How are you all? Must be fine. Well, I'm also fine. আশা কৰিছো আটাই ঘৰতে আছা। তোমালোকৰ স্কুল খুলিছে, right? So স্কুলত গৈ আছা চাগে, সামাজিক দূৰত্ব বজাই চলিছা। safety measures follow kore, পঢ়া শুনা কৰি আছে চাগে এটাই, right? Hope you all are studying well, because don't forget you have to write the exams as well. তোমালোকৰ পৰীক্ষা আছে, পৰীক্ষা লিখিব লাগিব, হয়নে নহয়? Right? So keeping that in mind, we cannot what? পঢ়া শুনা ঢিলাই দিব নোৱাৰো, পঢ়া শুনা ভালদৰে কৰিয়ে থাকিব লাগিব, right? So keeping that in mind, let's begin today's session. Yeah, are we all ready? Fine then. So before I start, let me tell you something. This is again a revision of a topic that we have discussed before. এটা topic আমি revision কৰিম যেটো আমি আগতে পঢ়িছো, okay? আৰু এই টপিকটো তোমালোকৰ পৰীক্ষাৰ পইণ্টৰ পৰা কিছু ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট হয়, কিয়নো ইয়াৰ পৰা তোমালোকৰ ডাইৰেক্ট কিছুমান প্ৰশ্ন আহিব. So what's the topic we are discussing today? Let's find out. Are we all ready? Here we go then. So as you all know, this is an English class. So what do we have here? We can see a nice room. One boy is sleeping. His friend came and he sat beside him. এজন ল'ৰা বিছনাত শুই আছিল, তেওঁৰ বন্ধু এজন আহিল, তেওঁৰ ওচৰতে বহি দিলে. Satish, why didn't you come to school today? So the boy asked, Satish, why didn't you come to school today? Satish, তুমি স্কুলত আজি কিয় অহা নাছিলা? Satish, why didn't you come to school today? He repeated that again. Then again, this boy said that thrice. He তিনিবাৰকে এটা বস্তু repeat কৰিলে. But his friend is not replying. Why? Now finally Satish replied. He said, I'm not well. I'm not well. মোৰ গা ভাল নহয়. The friend went near him and checked, temperature চালে চাগে. Why? What's the matter with you, Satish? Again সুধিলে, why? What's the matter with you, Satish? I don't know, Surender. It's been pretty bad since the last operation on my leg. মোৰ ভৰিত হোৱা last operationটোৰ পিছৰে পৰাই মোৰ অৱস্থা একেবাৰে বেয়া হৈ আছে. I get these terrible headaches and then feel as if everything is going dark and silent. I feel miserable. But why are you speaking so softly? I can barely hear you. Then Satish said her friends, জনক ক'লে তুমি ইমান লাহে কিয় কৈ আছা? মই তোমাক ভালদৰে শুনাই পোৱা নাই. Now his friend thought, poor Satish, he had been ill ever since he came back from the holiday in Kashmir the previous year. বেচেৰা Satish, যোৱা বছৰ কাশ্মীৰৰ হলিডেৰ পৰা ঘূৰি অহাৰ পিছৰ পৰাই তাৰ বেমাৰী তাক লগ নেৰাই হৈছে, বেমাৰ হৈ আছে তাই. What happened? Now look at this. It's a flashback. Movie যেনেকৈ আমি flashbackত গুচি যাওঁ, পুৰা আগৰ বস্তু মনত কৰাৰ কাৰণে. So we are doing something here. We're talking about the time the conversation was happening at the time. এতিয়া Satish তাৰ বিছনাত শুই আছিল, তাৰ বন্ধুজন আহিলে, দুজনে কথা পাতি আছে. Now they are going flashback to their visit in Kashmir. So, look at Satish. Maybe the younger one is Satish. He তলৰ ফালে চাই আছে নদী এখনত. In the look how the water is rushing at the spot. So, Satish say তলৰ ফালে আঙুল point কৰি ইন্দ্ৰৰ দেখো. ইন্দ্ৰৰ সুধিলে, in the look how the water is rushing at that spot. Then Satish fell down. There had been an incident when he went hiking with his father and brother-in-law. They were crossing the rickety bridge over some rapids. The boy stood and looked down at the swirling water below them. Look how the water is rushing at that spot, Satish pointed out to his brother. Just then his foot slipped. Losing his balance, he fell into the rapids. Satish ওপৰৰ পৰা তলত পৰি গ'ল. His screams were lost in the rushing sound of the water. When he regained consciousness, his legs were in a plaster cast and his head hurt badly. He was bruised and aching all over. Though his legs held, they remained weak, requiring several operations on them. Worse, he suffered frequently from bouts of fever and infection, especially of the ear. Okay? যেতিয়া যোৱা বছৰ Satishe তাৰ দেউতাকৰ ককায়েকৰ লগত হলিডেজত গৈছিল, এজেগাঠি পৰি গ'ল, ইঞ্জুৰিজ হৈ গ'ল, ইঞ্জুৰিজবোৰৰ পৰা ভাল পালে, but then কিছুমান প্ৰব্লেম থাকি গ'ল. So now look at this. Satish is at hospital. Now here is something called glossary. So glossary means ki, word stock. So what do we have here? Rickety breeds means what? Weak breeds. Bruised means injured. Rapids means a dangerous part of a river which flows very fast because it is steep and sometimes narrow. Swelling, twisting, circular movement, bouts of fever, periods of illness. Glisten is shown, right? So those were the words. Before we go into the story, here is a question, but we'll not talk about it now. So no, Satish could hear Surrender only after repeated the question 3 times because why? এতিয়া আমি ষ্টৰিটো আটাই পঢ়িলো এতিয়া আমি চাওঁচোন ষ্টৰিটোৰ ওপৰত বেছ কৰি কিছুমান প্ৰশ্নৰ উত্তৰ দিব পাৰো নে নোৱাৰো so প্ৰথম প্ৰশ্নটো হ'ল Satish could hear Surrender only after he repeated the question 3 times Satishe Surrenderer কথাটো শুনিব পাৰিছিল যেতিয়া কেতিয়া যেতিয়া প্ৰশ্নটো তিনিবাৰ ৰিপিট কৰা হৈছিল why what could be the answer Your options are because he was busy in drawing, that is option A. Option B is he was watching TV. Option C, he didn't notice him. And option D, he could not hear him. Okay, so what was the injury? He had his injury in his ears, isn't it? Anot akhat paisil. So jodi anota injury ase, what could be the right answer? Is it that he was watching TV? No, right? He was sleeping, right? He was busy drawing? No. Why? Because he was sleeping. So in that case, what would be the answer? Very good. Answer is option D. He could not hear him because he could not hear him as he was suffering from the illness in his ear. He could not hear him. Right? Satish met with an accident when he was crossing a dash. Satish met with an accident when he was crossing a dash. What's that? Dash. Road at his school, that is option A. Rickety bridge over some rapids is option B. Option C is the mountain part. Option D is snow-covered Himalaya in Kashmir. So are we talking about snow? No, right? Then was he going to school? No, he was in holiday, isn't it? So option A and option D are ruled out. The right answer is কি হ'ব শুদ্ধটো আমি মাত্ৰ গ্লোসাৰীটো words কেইটা দেখিছিলো what was that very good answer is option B rickety bridge over some rapids so গ্লোসাৰীত আমি কি দেখিছিলো আমি দেখিছিলো what is rickety bridge that is a weak bridge isn't it then আমি rapido meaning to দেখিছিলো so that is our right answer is option B now back to normal life isn't it we flashback ot gusi goisilu tarpor ami back to normal time ot ahilu will you come to school tomorrow will you come to school tomorrow Surender is asking Satish will you come to school tomorrow Satish could not hear so he is not replying fine I'll see you in class tomorrow so Surender says fine I'll see you in class tomorrow then what Satish is crying now poor Satish all his friends are going to school they are having fun and he is in bed so asun Satishok besaratur ekandi ase etia hoy ne noy because tar gotei friends bure school ot goi ase bhalore pahana kori ase and he is on his bed only because of the injury I cannot bear the silence around me I want to scream মোৰ চাৰিওফালে নিস্তব্ধতাটো মই সহ্য কৰিব নোৱাৰো মই চিঞৰিব বিচাৰো but then why was it silent around him yes you people are right because he's suffering something in his ears so শ্ৰৱণ to কমি গৈছে so তাৰ কাৰণে he is feeling what everything is silent around him so now we have another paragraph চাওঁচোন এই paragraphটোত কি আছে it felt as if some huge weight was pressing upon his head making everything seem far away and silent He felt helpless and upset at being confined to bed as he was. The silence was the worst. Everything seemed like scenes from some pantomime show. He wanted to scream to break the silence, but didn't. For the 8-year-old boy, this was terrible. Look at the story once again. Let's read the paragraph once again. It felt as if some huge weight was pressing upon his head, making everything seem far away and silent. He felt helpless and upset at being confined to bed as he was. Silence was the worst. Everything seemed like scenes from some pantomime show. He wanted to scream to break the silence, but didn't. For the 8-year-old boy, this was terrible. So কি হল? You know, তাক এনেকুৱা লাগিছিল যে ডাঙৰ বোজা এটা তাক হেঁচা মাৰি হেঁচি ধৰি আছে চ' তাৰ কাৰণে তাৰ মূৰত হেঁচি ধৰি আছে তাৰ কাৰণে মানুহ সি মানে হি ইজ ফিলিং এজ ইফ একেবাৰে অসহায় ফিল কৰিছে isn't it? আৰু যেনে কিন্তু বিচনাত কনফাইন হৈ থকাটো সহ্য কৰিব পৰা নাই কিন্তু তাত কিন্তু আটাইতকৈ বেয়া বস্তু আছিল তাৰ চাৰিওফালে থকা নিস্তব্ধতাটো right? So based on this story, what can we do? We'll do that in a moment. Okay, now we can see at a doctor sample, why is my son not able to hear? Oh, why is that silent around him? Because he's not able to hear. So probably this is his father. He can say, so deuta koi ka doctor ko hudise se mu lora jone kyo hunibo pora nai. It must be due to the medicines given to treat his legs. Itu bot hoy medicine side effect hoy. Tior pori আঘাতৰ কাৰণে যিটো ঔষধ দিয়া হৈছিল সেইটোৰ কাৰণে Mr. Avtar Narayan, your son has been absent to school frequently. Now, school principal told his father, Mr. Avtar Narayan, your son has been absent to school frequently. আপোনাৰ ল'ৰাটো স্কুলত বহুত দিন ধৰি অহা নাই We also find him difficult to hear anything. We cannot keep Satish in this school anymore. আপোনাৰ ল'ৰাটো স্কুলত ৰেগুলাৰ নহয় তাৰোপৰি আমি তাৰ লগত কমিউনিকেট কৰিব নোৱাৰো কাৰণ সি তেওঁ ভালদৰে শুনা নাপায় ক্ষমা কৰিব আমি তেওঁক এখন স্কুলত ৰাখিব নোৱাৰিম সো বেচেৰা Satish এতিয়া তাৰ স্কুলো এৰিব লাগিব We will have to look for a new school. Now Satish's father said যে তোমাৰ কাৰণে আমি এখন নতুন স্কুল বিচাৰিব লাগিব We will have to look for a new school. No, I cannot go to a school where I cannot talk to other children. Satishে কৈছে মই এনেকুৱা এখন স্কুলত যাব নিবিচাৰো য'ত মই আনৰ লগত কথা পাতিব নোৱাৰো They will make fun of my deafness. মই যে শুনিব পৰা নাই মোৰ এই অৱস্থাটো তেওঁলোকে they will make fun of me. Better you have to go to school and learn what will you do in life if you don't get education. শিক্ষা নাপালে তুমি জীৱনত কি কৰিবা তুমি যাবই লাগিব আৰু শিকিবই লাগিব Okay, let me go to a new school. Then Satish said, okay, let me go to a new school. Then they went to a new school and the principal said, sorry, Mr. Narayan, this school is for normal boys. Why don't you take your son to the school for deaf and dumb children? Ekon school, normal ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীৰ কাৰণে হয় আপুনি আপোনাৰ ল'ৰাজনক স্পেচিয়েল ডেফ এণ্ড ডাম্ব স্কুলত লৈ নাযায় কিয় My son is not dumb, sir. His hearing is little bad. He is under treatment and will soon be fine. So father said, my son is not dumb. His hearing is a bit of a problem. There's someone who to because he is under treatment. Then the principal said, sorry, Mr. Narayan. So now we have a paragraph here. It says, though Avtar Narayan felt shattered, he would not give up hope. After the unsuccessful expedition to the schools, Satish became very moody. He could not talk freely with anyone because he was unable to hear a single word. His brother Inder sat for hours with him and talked to him, teaching him words and pronunciations. Unable to bear the taunts and teasing of the children in the neighborhood, Satish even avoided going out to play. Satish's অৱস্থা ইমানেই বেয়া হ'ল যে খুব moody হৈ গ'ল and his brother tried to help him to ককাইকে সহায় কৰিব বিচাৰিছিল কিন্তু Satishৰ এনেকুৱা অৱস্থা হ'ল যে ওলাই যাব নিবিচৰা হ'ল So now here is a question for all of us. Question to কি হয় For Satish, everything seemed like scenes from some pantomime show because why? He was suffering from bouts of fever. He was operated on his legs. He has lost his hearing. He has lost his sight. And the right answer is very good. That is option C. He had lost his hearing. So that's why. His father and Inder spent time with him every day, talking to him, trying to teach him things. Okay, if you want to get on in life, you have to read a lot. You can learn a great deal of things just by reading. So father said, তুমি যদি জীৱনত আগবাঢ়িব বিচাৰিছা, you'll have to learn আৰু সেইটো কেনেকৈ কৰিব পাৰিবা by reading. So Satish made the habit of reading. Satish lived through them life of Garibadi translated into Urdu by Lala Lajpat Rai, his works of Munshi Premchand, Sarat Chandra and several others, as if a whole world opened out for him. অকলশৰে থকা সতীশৰ কাৰণে as if এখন সম্পূৰ্ণ নতুন পৃথিৱী তাৰ কাৰণে আগবাঢ়ি আহিল. Satish became a voracious reader. The books, however, were all serious works meant for older children and sometimes even for adults. They made him feel depressed and left a deep impression upon his sensitive mind. He came to know of another world through them, a world of suffering and anguish. He brooded long and hard about why there was so much suffering in the world, while his own world looked comfortable in comparison. So again, let's see what is the glossary here. Live through the books means read carefully. Garibedi and Lala Lajpat Rai are freedom fighters. Munshi Premchand is a great novelist. Sensitive mind is tender, responsive mind. Voracious means restless. Right? Now moving ahead. Satish became a voracious reader because of his. Now look at this. Satish became a voracious reader because of his father, brother, mother, and teacher. Who made Satish read? Very good. It's his father, right? So answer is option A. Another bout of fever struck and Satish was confined to bed. All he could do was sit and stare out of the window or read. He felt lonely and full of despair at his plight. So look at Satish, he's looking at the bird. All right. So now, one day when he was looking gloomily into the far corner of the garden, he saw a bird that was unlike any he had ever seen before. It had a longish tail and a black crest. But the most interesting thing about the bird was its restless energy. Its eyes kept darting here and there, the whole body ready for flight any moment. For a long time he stared at the beautiful bird. When it flew away after a glance in his direction, Satish jumped down from his bed, took out his notebook and pencil. He sketched the bird from memory with a few deft strokes. He liked the picture and set it against the stack of books on his bedside table. So Satish এটা ধুনীয়া bird দেখিলে, চৰাই এটা দেখিলে, এইটো দেখি মন্ত্ৰমুগ্ধ হৈ গ'ল, বিচনাৰ পৰা নামি আহিলে, took out his pen and paper, and what he did, he draw. এটা sketch এটা বনালে of that very bird. Now we can see Satish drawing that very bird. His father came and took it from him, saying, "This is an idle pastime. You'd do better to read and get some knowledge." Well, এইটো এটা useless pastime হয়, idle pastime হয়. তুমি যদি পঢ়া তেতিয়াহ'লে বেছি ভাল হ'ব তোমাৰ কাৰণে. Then Satish's mother came and she said, "Why do you take away his source of entertainment?" আপুনি তাৰ পৰা তাৰ source of entertainment কিয় কাঢ়ি লৈ যাব বিচাৰিছে? Oh, that I don't want him to start thinking that he can make a living out of drawing. Artists make a pittance and live in poverty. It is no career for a bright boy. He has to study if he has to make something out of his life. Besides, his hearing may return anytime. When it does, he must be prepared to go back to school, mustn't he? It has been more than 3 years since he became ill. How do you possibly think that he can recover his hearing? Why decide that he is going to remain deaf all his life? We must always be optimistic about the chances of recovering. Okay. So after that, what happened? Several visits to doctors followed, with nothing improving for Satish. He remained in his silent world, the only solace for him being painting. Sketching came naturally to Satish because he was good at Urdu calligraphy. He managed to paint and draw in spite of his father's opposition. So Sati's father, Satiশৰ দেউতাকে বিচৰা নাছিল যে সি পেইণ্টিং কৰক, বাট তাৰ মাজতে তেওঁ ভালদৰে পেইণ্টিং কৰা আৰম্ভ কৰিলে. Sketching came naturally to Satish because he was good at. Why? What could be the answer? We have just seen that. Very good. Answer is option D, Urdu calligraphy. Satish's father took away all notebooks he had drawn because, what's that? He didn't want his son to make a living by drawing. One day when he was busy mixing the colors on his palette, he became aware of his father standing at the door. He looked up to find him staring at the painting intently. Satish reddened, but continued with his mixing. Slowly his father came into the room and sat next to his son. Okay. You want to do this very badly, don't you? এটা তুমি খুব কৰিব বিচাৰা নহয় জানো? Colors. Sati's father brought colors. They are for you, Satish. I will find out the best school of arts for you. Satish became very happy. You will learn the art and make your life in your chosen field. Thank you very much, Pitaji. So, who's that boy? This is someone he grew up to be. Who's he? Within a short time, he learned more than just painting. He learned about life. It is this boy, popularly known as Satish Gujral. So the small boy came to be known as who? Satish Gujral, right? So who's Satish Gujral? He is a very prominent painter and sculptor of modern India. Adunik Bhartar is a big painter and sculptor. He is Satish Gujral. And do you know, there's a very interesting fact about Satish Gujral. We talked about Satish, right? Their father. He had an older brother too, right? There was an ককায়েক আছিল, হয় নে নহয়? আমি story আমুইতে দেখা পাইছিলো. What was his name? Very good. His name was Inder, right? So that another boy, Inder, later on became the Prime Minister of India. All right? Satish Gujral's ককায়েক আছিল, Inder. So Inderlal Gujral was the Prime Minister of India in the year 1997. 1997 চনত তেওঁৰ ককায়েকে সতীশ গুজৰালৰ ককায়েকে ভাৰতৰ প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী হৈছিল. Okay, so that's an interesting fact, isn't it? So with that, my dear friends, we'll wind up for today. We'll continue with this in our next session. Hope you all have understood, right? So let's wind up here for today. We'll see you next time. Thank you.